Hey, welcome to a December 2014 transaction review and calculator practice. I see a couple of you so far. Other people will follow in, and of course, most people listen to this after the fact. But always interested in engaging in anyone that is able to talk, write, has anything going on before I just kind of launch into the next example that I want to bring up. So, okay, Kathy says Las Vegas was great. Awesome. Very good. Good to hear that. Um, yeah, I wasn't able to make this one. Um, Great, Paul. You can hear. Hear only, no talking. Hey, Marjorie, can you talk at all? If not, anyways, I love it when you guys can interact and it doesn't mess up the line, but if not, that's okay. We can just use the chat buttons. Okay, so for tonight's deal, I always like to use stuff that's right in front of me, happening real time in my own business. And unless you guys have a deal you want to talk about, I would be happy to talk about that first. So if you do have a specific situation you want to talk about or any questions, please use the chat button to let me know. Otherwise, I'll just tell you what's going on in my world. So here's a very typical thing these days. Rehab guy needs seed capital. So just in the last couple of days, real nice guy out of, where is he? Kansas City, Missouri. Okay, and there's a lot of investors there that I know. They have a great real estate investment club there. I've already met a lot of the owners of that, like on some of the events that I've been to, IRA fund cruise and other things going on. But anyway, this guy is from Houston, older guy, probably in his 70s, I want to say. And he had a business partner and his wife, and they all did a lot of real estate investing somehow, and they were making just a ton of money, like flipping houses. And then right at the turn of the market, he said 2008, 2009, they got stuck with a lot of properties. And so basically it ate up a ton of profit that they had made to that point. The guy's wife died. He ended up moving back to Kansas City, Missouri area so that he could be with his family, help take care of his aging mother, and be there with his sister. And he's deciding how can I engage in the real estate market as an investor here and do something that helps fill in the gaps of the market. So he says, Don, when I came here, I just looked around and see what people needed. And I talked to all these real estate investors, and I talked to all these mortgage brokers, and they said that nobody would touch a loan less than $50,000. Most people didn't want to do an institutional bank loan for less than 70 or 75. And then there's all these people in that 50,000 and less range who just couldn't get a mortgage but needed housing. So they could afford, $600, $700, $800, $900 a month, but they're never going to get a bank loan. So he decided that's the part of the market that he was going to function in. And so he found a way, he made his networks, and he decided he would buy these lower end homes. We're not talking, let's just be clear. We're not talking phenomenal collateral, right? We're not talking stick builts that are going to sell retail for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. We're talking about low end mobile homes, low end stick built homes, but where the cash flow, if you are renting, is really good. And also the cash flow, if you're buying and selling on terms, is really good. And he goes, Don, I just need to know. And this was the first deal he's ever done. And he sent me his note paperwork. And he goes, I'm looking to sell this note. I was looking online because I went to my local real estate club, and all they wanted to do is buy a full. And I said, and he goes, I'd rather sell a partial. Do you buy partials? And I said, of course. That's my preferable mode, is to buy partials, because then you, as the note seller, keep the back side, and that keeps it's almost like having someone personally guaranteeing the loan, because you're not going to want to walk away from the back end of the loan. So I'd really rather prefer that. And he says, well, what I'm looking for is a way to keep cash flow going while I build this portfolio of notes that'll start kicking into me 4 or 5 years down the road. And then, I'm an old guy and I got my mom and my sister to take care of. I just want to know that I'm going to be able to meet my financial obligations. And so that's just the conversation we had. Please, anyone who just came on, feel free to do the texting into the chat button if you have a comment, if you have a question, or just anything at all you want to share or talk about. Sometimes on these calls, I love this business, but sometimes I'd rather talk about what you want to talk about and just hear myself talk the whole time. But it's okay. I understand there's certain limitations with the technology. But anyway, so he said, I bought this property. I put a little money into it. So at the top, so I'm at $18,000. Because remember, he's focusing on the part of the market that's massively underserved. So we're talking about 50,000 and less properties. But he got this as a real estate owned in REO, put about 3,000 in it, and then he sold owner financed. And I guess from going to enough of the real estate investment clubs, he realized that with Dodd-Frank, that he should probably use a licensed mortgage originator to put his paperwork together. He made it so he never has balloons, and he tries to make the payment equal or less to what that they would have to pay in rent for the same property. So that's a lot of motivation for someone. When someone is getting ready to default on a note, they have to think pretty hard, because what's the alternative? Maybe they can get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months of free rent, waiting for the foreclosure. But, they're not going to rent a property for cheaper than their mortgage was. So, in my opinion, setting something up in that way is extremely motivating for that person to continue paying their mortgage. So anyway, that's what he wants to do. And he told me, Dawn, and I just love these authentic kind of conversations that I have with people. He goes, I'm an old guy. And, back when I was in Houston, we could have actually even made more money than we already did. But I could never do what my competition did. I could never oversell a property knowing that they'd probably get stuck with something they couldn't afford. And so he said, what I want to do in this market is something that feels good to me. I got to be able to look myself in the mirror and sleep at night. And I got to tell you, beyond whatever my financial calculator says, it's not inaccurate to say that my heart and my soul really is attracted to people and doing business with people who resonate with my overall vision of win-win situations and private solutions to the liquidity issue that we have here in the United States, real estate finance and all of that. And I want to do business with the people who get it, who don't bow down to just the almighty profit in any situation. They balance it with the ethical and moral, considerations of the transaction. So, because really, long term, if all of us or most of us don't do well in this country, none of us will, right? I mean, the worse off that any individual is, the less they're going to spend, heaven forbid, I would say Walmart or something like that. The less money that they can afford to spend on other things besides their basic living expenses, the harder it is for the economy to go around. So, I don't know. I'm really about very equitable transactions for everybody, because long term, even if you get ahead this one time, it's going to come back around. It will. There's no way for it not to, because that, well, we're just all connected in a really interesting way. So, anyway, wow, I've just pontificated for 10 minutes. So, here's the deal. He used the light, he did everything right, right? He's setting this up. This is even his first one this year. He had a sales price of $35,750. That's almost double, right? Almost exactly double of what he has into it. These numbers in these type of markets are not unreasonable. My friend Walter Wofford does this exact kind of number crunching, even with an even a little bit larger spread in Jackson, Mississippi. There was a $5,350 down payment. Let's see what that was, percentage-wise, of this purchase price. So 5,350 divided by 3,5,750. 15% down payment. Not bad for an owner-occupant. Someone who qualifies with ability to pay and all of that. No short-term balloon, nothing. Fully amortized over 5 years. I love this. So basically, the note balance, there's a couple $100 difference here, I think, but here's the note balance. When I looked at the promissory note that he sent over and the HUD statement, closing statement, this is how it ended up getting written up. 60 months. Now, a 5-year amortization is really attractive. Okay, no balloon, zero for future value. Monthly payment was $636. So why is the payment on the note $642? I freaking have no idea. Let's just see if I can even figure out why. This is the payment on the note. And a title company drew this up for the guy, right? 9.25. I think, I don't know. I can't really remember why. But somehow they had some sort of minor difference in the down payment or some sort of benefit that they were acting. I'm just going to tell you that, like, sometimes you get these things that don't just fit in the mold and you just go, okay, whatever. I'm just going to deal with it. So even though the normal amortization for this deal on the note would be $636, the actual payment on the note is $642. So I just plug it in, right? Theoretically, that would only be a 59.29 payment, right? Interesting. Anyhow, the point is he just closed on this. So the first payment is not going to be due till January 1st, and he's wondering, can he sell this note? So what would you do? Okay, and someone's talking to me. I think the term is 59. Kathy, you're exactly right, right? Exactly. But somehow this is just the weird thing with some of these private seller carry deals. Even when they're originated by like title companies and things, they have these little inconsistencies that's just kind of weird. But when you look on the note, it's definitely a 60-month note. And this is definitely the payment, and this is the interest rate, and this is the balance. But you know what? It's off somewhere. It's just kind of weird. But the point is, here's what we have. Here's what the buyer's willing to send in for the next 60 payments. So that's what I'm looking at. And he goes, I don't know if you buy an unseasoned note. And I said, well, it just depends. If I can buy a partial and I can keep my investment to value really low and you're keeping a significant upside on the back, I actually wouldn't mind, depending. Because I know you're going to help keep my life simple. If anything goes wrong with this deal, you're going to be there to help me sort it out. Because you don't want to lose your back-end interest in this note. And interestingly enough, he had someone out of Texas. His name is J.W. War. And he has made a name for himself in the note space 40,000 and less. Now, if you've been out there at all, you know that most institutional note buyers will not touch anything less than 50,000, just like the originators, the people who make the bank loans, don't want to do a bank loan for less than 50,000. And mainly, not only collateral situations, but there's a lot of paperwork. The paperwork to close a $40,000 deal is the same amount of paperwork and effort it takes to close a $400,000 deal, except for you make so much more money on a $400,000 deal than you do with a 40. So anyhow, he says J.W. War, and you can look him up. He may be a resource for you, and I'll just give him that. He's a solid guy out of Texas. I talked to him a couple weeks ago and started making his acquaintance 2 or 3 years ago. So he's been in this business. He's passionate about it. Anyway, you can look him up on Google. Anyway, he agreed to buy this note for $26,000. So let's see what that is. Apparently, like to me, I don't think in his mind he thinks investment to value very much. I think he's basically a yield buyer. So let's see if he paid $26,000 for this note, making the note seller cover all of the closing costs, right? This $26,000 doesn't mean he's paying also an extra $350 for a lender's title policy and $500 for a closing and recording. This is $26,000 all in. So let's see what he's willing to take. Okay, he's willing to take almost a 17% yield. And that sounds fine. And here's what I know about his model is he's going to go sell this to someone. He's got a list of 500 buyers, people who are interested in buying small notes for high yields. He's going to sell it to them at $28,000, make a $2,000 spread, and they're going to make a 13.3% yield. That really sounds good on paper, and it's fantastic. You know what? 13 and plus on a $28,000 investment is great, unless it doesn't perform, which in this category of collateral, you have to assume that there's a fair amount of underperformance on these notes, which starts to eat into this yield. And, that's one of the things that I've learned over the years of things that I would never have learned, not in a boot camp, not in any class I took, nothing. Unless I was managing a portfolio of notes, I wouldn't know half of what I know about the note business. There's only so much you learn in class. The rest you learn in real world. It's that way with anything, right? Well, I know that this looks like a great yield. I know it's very unlikely that this is going to perform perfectly over the term. The statistics aren't there. So at $26,000, I think that's even a stretch, right? Because look, if this goes bad, how long does it take to foreclose? Look, the guy is only in at 18. This is the cash world price for this thing. It's not 35. Yeah, 35, 36 if you offer financing, but cash now, it's only worth 18. So the most honorable thing is for this guy to basically leave all the difference between 18,000 and 35 on the table as his backside. So here's a rough number. This is pushing it, but just to say what's the most I want to invest. And I kind of want to make pretty close to this, right? And he wants to sell off 40 payments. And he wants to get, here's what he wants. He wants to sell 40 payments. He either wants $26,000 cash for the whole note, or he wants $20,500 for 40 payments. So what's he wanting to give up as a yield? Okay, that doesn't sound bad, but still, come on. This is still bigger than what he even has in it as a cash investor. So, at this level, it doesn't take much to change the numbers. So what I did is say, look, the most I can do is 20, but I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to need a little better return than, that 13, 14 that you think you're giving me. And this isn't much. Isn't this interesting? Just give me one more payment. I dropped what you want by $500. Look at now, it jumped me up to 16 and a half. And I said, realistically, Mike, this this isn't a huge yield spread. This is a lot of paperwork for me to make a little bit of money on this deal, manage my risk. And he goes, but yeah, but what I really want, Don, is I want an investing partner, and I want a stream of income coming to me 4 or 5 years down the road. I want to know that, as soon as this 41 payments is up, that I start receiving these payments. And his tail end of that, let's figure out what it was. Original note, 3,400. Well, I don't even trust what this is. We'd have to say that, right? Oops. I think that's what the effective yield is. 60. Yeah, to get that 60. Okay, so after 41 payments that are mine, what will he have left? So I'll come over here to future value. He still has an 11,000 left, which is, let's see, 51, 60 minus 41. 19 payments times 642, 18. He's saying, Don, I want that extra $12,000. That'll make a big difference to me. If I have a bunch of these notes that start paying in 3-4 years from now, I'm going to have a ton of passive income. So that's what I want to do. I want to make some money. Look, he made out fine, right? He put out 18 grand. He got 5,000 down. Now he's only in it at 13, right? He's only in it at 13. Now if he sells the note for 20, even after closing costs, he gets 19. He's got another 6 grand. I mean, really, he's gotten most of his seed capital back, right? He's gotten all of his seed capital plus a nice profit. He got his 5,350 down. He gets the sale of the note, a partial at 20,000. He's gotten 25,000 for something he's only in at 18,000. And then 3.5 years from now, let's add another 11,000 balance of the note coming to him. Now he's making par for his price, right? He sold at this, he's getting this. As long as he leaves a big chunk of his skin in the game. And so if I buy this partial, I want to know that he's going to be there to fix any problem, because you know what? What did I have? A 16.5% yield. That sounds great for a small amount of money, $20,000. But I'll tell you what, it only takes me having to get on the plane and fly there and pay back property taxes and back insurance, and pretty soon I'll just be lucky to get my principal out of it. This whole yield can evaporate so quickly. Now, what most people new to the note business don't get is that this yield can disappear overnight, super quick, right? I mean, just figure this. I said I would pay 41 payments, $20,000. No balloon there, right? That's not right. They got the wrong thing in here. Right? This is what I said I would do. Just think about if to 20,000, let's me add $1,000 force place policy to this. Now it's my yield. 13.5. Now let me pay taxes for a couple years. Let's add another $1,500 plus 21. Now I'm at 22.5. Now what's my yield? Oh shoot, I'm down to 9. Gosh, what if I quit receiving payments for a while and they trash the place on the way out? What if I had to spend another $2,500 just to turn it around? Now I'm in at 2,500 or 25,000. Wow, wouldn't I be safer with Washington and Wall Street at these numbers, I mean, I'm just morbid question. With his age, what happens if he passes before you're out in the notice of performing? Hey, great question. If this guy dies and he's not there to fix a default for me, I'm not going to be happy. I mean, really, I should probably send an insurance underwriter to see how healthy the guy is. Because when I'm doing these types of deals, if I didn't like the guy, if I didn't think he was an honorable guy, if I didn't think the numbers incentivized him to do the right thing for me and him, I'd be pricing this less. And frankly, there's people buying paper at prices that don't absolutely make sense to me at all. Like, they'll buy this at a 12 or 13% yield. That's absolutely nuts to me. Those people have never had to manage a portfolio and seen what happens down the road. That's all I'm saying. Um, but I got to assume the guy's going to live 41 months at least, I'm hoping. I guess, the guy that I'm working with in Houston, he's 24 years old. Now, he's very young, theoretically has a long life to him, but who knows? He might be riding a motorcycle and be more likely to die young than this guy who's in his 70s. But anyway, just thoughts. Okay, there's the payment. I already got ahead of myself there. The most I'm going to be is 60%. You know what? That's even, I would consider the real value of this property, cash value, to be what my guy has in it. 18, 20,000. So even this is an only reflective of an owner carry type of deal. I want the seller to keep scamming in the game, and that's what he wants. Obviously this time around he took the 26,000 deal from JW in Texas. The other Kansas City people are mostly buying non-performing notes, and they only wanted to give him like $20,000 for the whole note, whereas I only need 41 payments of the note to give him 20,000. So my guess is he went with JW just to cash out. He's in it at 18. He's gonna get 26 from the sale of the note, so there's 8,000. Then he got his down payment at 5,000. So he made 13 grand on this deal. He almost doubled his money. But really what he wants to build long term, he said, is just to create residual income for himself that will kick in down the road. So I'm expecting I will hear from this guy. And here's, just before I leave, and please type any other questions or speak if you can. But the thing is, this is indicative of a certain trend in private financing that I believe in. You know what? On these small deals, guess what? I don't make a killing. I might have a $2,000 spread on these little deals that I do. That's not a lot for all the paperwork that's required to put it together, to get an investor in, to put it to my self-directed IRA. I got to tell you, it's not a lot of money. But in a bigger scope, I'm so committed to this vision that we need private solutions to the financial issues of our times, because Washington and Wall Street are not going to do it. We need to figure out, how do we structure private transactions in a way that honors all sides of the party, all parties to the transaction. So we need private investors to have better I feel sorry, actually, I got to tell you, I feel sorry to the guy who's going to buy it for $28,000 and think he's getting a 14 or 15% yield, because guess what? He's going to be surprised. I guarantee you that it's not going to be, statistically speaking, it's not going to perform perfectly. And there's probably times when he's going to kind of have to come out of pocket for insurance and taxes. I mean, I've done that more often than I thought I would have to, because I feel like I buy pretty conservatively. But guess what? The economy is hitting people. They're being stretched. They're losing hours. They're having to pay more for food, at other items. Inflation is hitting them, so it's harder for them to make their rent or mortgage payments. So, at least, just qualifying that with this type of collateral. When you're looking at small notes, you're going to have a higher statistical likelihood of things. You need to build in space. You need to buffer yourself against unexpected things, because likely you're going to have to deal with that. It doesn't mean it's bad to do. It's still great to do. Because what is this guy doing? He's creating home ownership opportunities for people who otherwise couldn't have them. That's a beautiful thing. Think about this. This person in 5 years is going to own their home free and clear. And without this guy doing his private investing model and having note buyers like me at the other end of it, he's not going to be able to do this. So that's a really beautiful thing. It's the vision that I believe in, and then you got to fill in the numbers and put everything else together too. But any other comments? I mean, what else is going on in your world? Talk to me.
I was just saying you should get out of the note business and go into the high tech business because you're so good at this high tech stuff. You should just get out of the note business altogether. You could probably design your websites and do all this other stuff. Forget the note business, Don. You're in the wrong business.
Well, Ken, if that's true, then I think you should do stand-up comedy and be sarcastic.
Ah,
You know what? I have not gotten any more graceful with this technology in like 3 years. I swear to God, it's just one of those things.
you're great. You're great, Don. I kid you. I kid you. You're great. Don't let me bother you. You're great at it.
Oh gosh, did you just barely get on, or were you on for
No,
a
no.
while?
I got on like about a minute ago, and I just tuned in, and I just saw the calculator. It says rehab guy, and that's it. That's what I've seen so far.
Okay, great. Well, by the way, I'm trying to get you some paperwork just to see if you want to go with those two little mobile home deals that I sent over. But
Yeah, no problem. I'm just waiting for whenever you send it to me.
yeah, you know what? The interesting thing is, I haven't sent out to my whole list in several months. I was astounded. I've got like 24 responses that, so there's a huge market for people looking for little note, opportunities. Um, and I wasn't prepared for that,
Well, it's also a matter of trust, Don. They trust you, so that's a big part of the game as well.
Yeah. Um, well, any other comments that, hey, Ken or anyone else that can, talk or write? We're kind of at the end of the moment, but um, anything to share? I love when you guys add, your thoughts and experience to this conversation, because
No, I
frankly,
must have got in Don at the very end because I thought the podcast or webinar tonight was supposed to start at 6 o'clock. Was it supposed to be at 5:30 or five
yeah,
o'clock?
these half-hour deals start at 5:30 and go till 6. My other ones from 6 to 7. The ones that are mid-month.
Okay, because I got you. I did. It was my bad. I looked at it wrong. Okay, yeah, I just saw the 6 o'clock. I didn't see the 5:30. That was my fault.
Hey, well, no problem. It's just that the people on the East Coast, I feel bad if they always have to stay up really
Sure.
late.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But anyway, thank you so much. Well, Ken, it's short but sweet, but we'll be talking soon. Like I said, I will email you something tomorrow on those little note deals. And
Okay. Thanks, Don. Appreciate it.
okay, thanks a lot, Ken. I appreciate you guys tuning in, showing up, caring about the conversation. Go out there and spread the good word. Okay, take care now. I appreciate you. Bye bye.